The first one, write this down. When it comes to you creating, you gotta package this and realize people need to buy it, right? So the very first thing is you need to focus on, write this down, principles. What are your principles? So a lot of us, we focus on different things, virtual assistants, trauma, working with the youth, all the things that we have. You want to have what are your core principles that allowed you to get through your situation, and if you helped anybody get through their situation, wherever your niche is, that should go as part of your principles. So everything has to start from that. So remember, coaching is the highest form of transformation. So now, okay, I know the situation I'm helping somebody with. At the same time, if I came up with, let's say 12. I like 12 because, it's a lot of, if you do like a 12-week program or something like that, but you can do a 6-month program, you can do a 10-week program, you can do 16 weeks, right? But if you have, your 12 principles, you know the core things that people need. Does that make sense? The core. So 12 principles. We need to have that. Now, there's no right or wrong. Over the years of me even teaching this, I've gained more insight into how to help my audience. There's a specific end goal you want to help people with. So every one of us said that we help somebody with something. So that's an end goal. You want your end goal to be tangible. Write that down. You want your end goal to be tangible. You want it to be tangible. The reason I'm saying that is because, what do you mean, Coach, when you say tangible? Something that they can clearly see that they have achieved. Right? So sometimes some of us, we're not in, the make money nature, different things of that nature, right? Our goal is to say, okay, well, if my goal is to help you be more confident and happy, then what does being a more confident and happy person mean in terms of what you're going to achieve by being more confident and happy? If you're more confident because you've overcome addiction, then what is that going to look like in your life? Is that going to look like you're more confident to maybe start that business you always wanted to start? Maybe you're more confident to get out there and start dating again, right? So if you focus on something that you're like, well, I don't really see how this is tangible, focus on what the intangible can achieve in the tangible. Because when you do it in that manner, people get it. They get it and say, okay, I can see. Because if you say, I got a program, I'm charging, $2,000 for it, I'm going to show you how to be more happy. It's hard for people to, it's hard for people to really justify that investment. But if you say, I'm going to show you as an ingredient how to be more happy, so now you can be more happy when you're around your kids, you have more quality time now, and you start saying these other things. Now it's like, oh, okay. Now I relate working with you to having a better relationship with my children. Does that make sense? These are things that I learned over the years. Like, oh, okay. I'm seeing it now. I'm not just doing things. So that's going to relate back to principles. So also the very first thing is, very first P, if you don't already have this down, is I want you to go home. If we had more time, I would have you do it in here if we had more days. But what I'm going to say this is, when you go home, I need you to make sure you know what your 12 principles are. And that might change over time. Because what you know today, you're going to be developing yourself. You're going to keep going to events, seminars. You're going to have coaches. You're going to be part of programs. The more that you do things, the more your perspective is going to change. The more your perspective change, you might say, oh, okay, originally I thought that this was one of the best ingredients, but let me take out that principle. Oh, let me add that one in there because I've been speaking to hundreds of people throughout the year. I've been on calls. I've been doing trainings. I've been doing Facebook and Instagram lives. I've been meeting with people. So based on all this data that I'm getting from everybody, because I'm actually out here doing it, a lot of people are struggling with that. Boom, you know what? I'm going to add as part of my program, the foundation of my program, I'm going to add that principle in. Boom. And you can literally do it. You can have one person that started working with you one day, and you gave them these 12 things, especially if it's one-on-one, and it could be the next day where you decide to change 2-3 principles, and you will literally work with that person on that. So don't feel like this is set in stone, but whatever your principles are is important. All right, so just write those down. All right, so that's the first thing. Second is, write this down, products. So from a products perspective, now Now that you know what you're helping people with, now it's all about, okay, well, what are the additional products and or resources I'm giving them? Another word for this is deliverables, right? What else are they getting? So, all right, if I can get on the phone with somebody and I can coach them for X amount of weeks, I usually recommend 8 to 16 weeks. Anywhere between there is a good amount of time. So if in your mind you've been thinking, oh, I should charge per hour. If you rock with me, you don't charge per hour no more. Like you like a decade behind. Like that's not working today. People are not gonna people will pay you for an hour, but they're not really gonna really go through any transformation. You need to get paid based on your value. Write that down. I will be paid based on my value, not based on per hour. If you want to work per hour, you at the wrong boot camp because you might as well stay at your job. If you came here, at some point, you probably want to do this full time, right? You probably want to coach full time, speak. You probably want to write books, do courses, whatever. You want to, at some point, really go all in this industry. So if you do, you got to get clear on specifically what else am I going to do to help somebody get closer to that goal, right? So what does that look like, Coach? And some of us talked about like structure and what to add as part of your program. So this is it right here. One, you can add certain things like worksheets. Right? So add worksheets to your program. Another thing that you can add is and that you have to know is what is the duration of how long you're going to work with somebody. Usually a good time is you can do it in weeks or months. Like I mentioned, 8 to 16 weeks is usually a good time frame. If somebody wants to continue working with you afterwards, then they can. Okay? So we got duration. We have, if you want to do worksheets. You can also add as part of your program, if you're doing one-on-one, let's say you're doing one-on-one coaching, you can actually add as an additional product to help them get closer to their goal, group. So you might say, I'm working with you one-on-one, but once a month, I'm gonna get all of my clients together. You're gonna get on a call, and you're not just gonna learn from me, but you're gonna learn from other people that are on the call as well. That's added value, because now it's not just one-on-one. Now it's like, oh, okay, I see everybody else is going through this trauma. I see everybody else, needs to get this result too. Okay, I'm seeing it, I'm learning, and they're gonna ask questions that you won't ask. That's what's great about being part of a group, because there's benefits. Or it can be the flip side. Flip side is, if you want to start off, and let's just make this clear. You're gonna have to select if you want to do one-on-one or group. Let's just make that clear. Okay? So make sure you want to do one-on-one or group. If you want to start off with group, realize that you got to get your first person, so it is going to start off one-on-one. But shoot, as soon as you get 2 people, you got a group right there. You feel me? You got a group right there. So once that happens, then you have a group, and then now you can say, okay, well, we're going to meet, and then you got to pick the frequency of how often you want to meet with your people. So make sure you write that down. What is the frequency that you're going to meet people with? The frequency. So frequency may be, I'm going to meet with my group once per week. Okay? Cool. Then that's the frequency. Right? It's the structure. Showing how to structure your packages in your program. Okay, cool. Or you might say, well, I'm going to meet with them once per month. I'm going to give y'all a hack. I didn't notice that first. The more frequent you meet with your clients, the stronger bond you have with them. It's key, right? The stronger bond and the faster progress they make. I don't speak to you for another month. It's a lot of things that can happen in a month. Things happen, I gotta focus on the kids. I'm coming home from work, I got this, I gotta cook, I gotta clean. There's so many things. Like, so for example, for our PCS program, we meet every week. So even if you fall off for a week, okay, cool, we got you right back focused. Right? So cool, all right? This is a rough week, okay? Let's bring your focus back. Most people, when's the next time they really look at, okay, taking their business serious again? What time of the year? New Year's, right? When they have the New Year's resolutions. There's a lot of people that set resolutions, and it's way off their radar right now because life just got in the way. This is interesting because we're having to be the end of the first quarter of the year. So if whatever goals you had set, if you ain't on track right now, this is putting you back on focus to making sure that you get back on track, right? So that's very important. So one-on-one or group, so you got to think about the frequency of how often you want to do it. And then if you start off with a group, now you can say, you know what? If you want that individual attention, cool, you can schedule a call. So you can start off with a group, and as part of your package, you can also include one-on-one on top of that. Does that make sense? Now you know what you're teaching and training people. You know the products and those services you're giving them to help them get closer to that result, which I think the last P is. Price. What's your price? Show me the money, baby. Show me the money. Show me the money. Right? So now we got to talk price. Based on how long you're working with people, based on what they're getting, you gotta come up with a price.